guys, it's Sophie and I have a fairly large book haul for you today. So I spent my weekend in Bristol and as I mentioned a few things went on, but one of the things that went on that was a good thing was I bought all of the books. So yeah, I have a fair few books to show you today and they're a bit varied, but hopefully you enjoy this video. The first one I'm going to kick off with is Authenticity is a Con by Pitre. So this is published by Bite Back, who write little polemic essays that are really intriguing and really interesting, and I've only read one so far, which is Why Women Need Quotas, but I really enjoyed it and all of their backlist looks super interesting. So this one is talking about how in sort of popular culture, in business talks, in sort of religious espousings, they all say the concept of authenticity, be your authentic self, is very important. And this book's sort of saying, well, what happens if you're a horrible person? Are there people who should be repressing themselves? Are there people who, if they were as authentic as they could be, would be hurting other people? And how would we tell? And should we be encouraging everyone to be as authentic as we are? So it's really interesting. That just sounds super cool to me, and I'll definitely be letting you know what I think of this one when I finish it. It's only little. And then the next one is a short story collection. It's The Fun Parts by Sam Lipsyte, and this is a collection of sort of really dark, humorous short stories. So I'll read you the little description on the back. In these masterful tragicomic stories from one of America's greatest living satirists, a gang of lonely boys suffers under the tyranny of a maniacal dungeon master. A recovering addict and cardio ballet instructor struggles to stay clean. A misery memorist is out-miseried and outsold by his homeless gay punk protege. And a substitute gym teacher turned male birthing coach teaches a couple that bringing home a newborn is not all cuddles and fluff. And the thing that really sold me on this one is the quote underneath from someone called Kevin Barry, who writes for The Guardian. He said, "The riffs come thick and fast and the gags are sprayed on with a machine gun, a whole lot of fun." And I just like that. I was completely sold. You probably know that my humour is very dark. So, you know, death, riding a lawnmower, it just sounds like fun. So I'll let you know what I think of this one. Never heard of it before, so we'll just see how we go. The next one could have totally just been a cover buy, because I would have just bought it for the cover, because it's a beautiful cover, but the back is amazing too. So this is the cover. Isn't that beautiful? It's called Caesarion by Tommy Wieringa. And oh, I just love it. I could just look at that all day. So I picked it up and was like, yes, I'm buying this book already because it's beautiful. And then I read the back and again, this completely sold it to me. So it says, "You were born in Egypt. Your mother is a porn star in LA, and your father has lost himself in a jungle in Central America. Your prospects are crumbling as fast as the hilltop foundations of your East Anglian home. So you set off to roam the earth and all of its freedoms, trying to find a way to be an adult in a world seemingly without adults, a place to stand and stay and grow." So it's a coming of age story of someone who's like in their sort of 20s, yes, lovely. It has like that sort of multinational sort of twist in terms of like, why is he living in East Anglia? It's also Dutch, like this is a Dutch collection, so what's going on, where are all these people from? It just sounds super intriguing, and it's sort of just my kind of thing, so I'm really excited to get into this one, and yeah, again, haven't had anyone talk about this, so excited. And the next one is a Canadian sort of thriller. It's called Alone in the Classroom by Elizabeth Hay, and this one was sort of, again, I was kind of interested in it because I'd never heard anyone talk about it, and I like finding stuff that isn't necessarily all that out there at the moment. So I believe it's kind of like a murder mystery kind of thing, and I think it centres around whether or not the person who's been accused of a murder and sort of tried and is sort of being sent to death has actually committed the crime or not, or whether when another crime occurs, does it mean that it might be someone who hasn't yet been found. But I don't really know all that much about it. I just know it's a Canadian #1 bestseller, and I've not heard of it, and I don't really know an awful lot of Canadian stuff, so excited to get into this one too. The next book's another one I haven't heard anyone talk about yet, and unfortunately I've broken it a little bit, but it's, let's see, it's called The Silent History, and it's by a number of people. It's by Ellie Horowitz, Matthew Derby and Kevin Moffat. And this one is around a group of children who for some reason don't speak, and it's sort of like a medical mystery, I suppose. So it says, they can't tell you their story, but the doctors, parents, inventors, cult leaders and vigilantes touched by the phenomenon can. They can tell you the silence of medical curiosities, or that they're a threat, or that they're our salvation, but they can't tell you what they're thinking, or what they want, or what they're going to do next. So it sounds sort of like a thriller, and sort of I was completely sold by the fact it was like that medical mystery as well as the cult element and like the religious side of it. Like, I think that sounds great fun. It's quite a fat one, and I'm quite excited to get into a bigger novel, because it's been a while. I've done a fair few short ones recently, and I could just do with something really nice to chew on and escape into. The next one's a romance book. I've heard so many people rave about it, I thought I could pick it up. It's All My Friends Are Superheroes by Andrew Kaufman. And this is a sort of love story told between this guy who literally everyone he knows is a superhero, and I think he's trying to chase down a girl. But it's only a really short one, and because I have heard really good things about it and it just seems interesting, I'm going to give it a shot. It's also I just love the cover. I think it's a really nice book in itself. And the next one is something completely different. But I'm so intrigued to get into it, and it's called 5 and 25s, and I feel like I've seen this a few places but I've not heard it talked about on BookTube yet. And this is a story about two, I think, American soldiers, two American soldiers and one Iraqi soldier, who were all involved in the conflict in the Arab Spring in 2006, and it's about them in that conflict, but also their lives after that conflict, and what happens when they go home, and what happens when they aren't physically fighting anymore, but they know it's not over. And it just sounds so intriguing. It's a beautiful book in itself. Just the colours are gorgeous, and it's something that I've never read anything about, and I'd like to. So when I saw it, I had to pick it up. And then I have two Cormac McCarthys because I'm loving him at the moment. I got The Sunset Limited, which is described as a novel in dramatic form, but really it's a screenplay. It's sort of a conversation between two people called Black and White, who are sort of debating the meaning of life, and Black, I think, is the more hopeful of the two, and White is a little bit sort of nihilistic about the entire thing. It's about them trying to figure out their world through this conversation, so it sounds interesting, and because I really enjoyed him, I thought I would try and pick up one of his screenplays rather than one of his novels, just to see how I get on. And then the second McCarthy I have is Suttree, which is a fat one, and I'm told that it is his most sort of autobiographical one, and I've had both Adam from Memento Mori and a random guy at the bookshop tell me like this is the best, and both seem quite sort of passionate about how good it is. So I'm excited to get into this one. As I say, I'm really looking forward to getting into some chunkier stuff, which might mean I read less this month in terms of numbers, but I don't really care. I could do with some good things to dive into, so I'm super excited to get to this one. This is, I think, based around the life of a guy whose name is Suttree, who is sort of living with these outcasts, a little bit similar to, I suppose, sort of Cannery Row by John Steinbeck, and is just sort of interacting with the edge of society. Really liking things about outcasts and societal rejects at the moment, so we'll see how I like this one too. And then the last one I'm so excited for. I just had to. This is how the whole thing started. I got The Gene by Siddhartha Mukerjee. Isn't it beautiful? And the book itself, like, oh, just the whole thing is so pretty, guys. And like even the thing is just a really nice colour, and so yeah, I knew it was out because Book Riot tempted me. And having started, and I'm struggling with putting this book back together, having started and really loved The Emperor of All Maladies so far, I just wanted the hardcover really badly, and I knew that if I didn't get it now, it'd be a case of buying it in the post, and it's so heavy it's never going to get through my door. So I went to the bookshop and I bought 10 books. But I'm so excited for this. So I've read Genome by Matt Harvey. Who are you by, Genome? Where are you? Matt Ridley. So I read Genome by Matt Ridley, which is kind of similar. It's an exploration of the human genetics, and in Genome he goes through sort of each gene and refers it to sort of a human behaviour or a characteristic that we can relate to. This one is described as an intimate history. I don't know whether it's going to be similar to the way he describes cancer in terms of it being a sort of almost biographical thing, or whether it's going to be a slightly different approach, but I'm so excited to see anyway, and I just can't wait. I am really glad I'm enjoying An Emperor of Maladies so much, but I already want to get into this one and start eating this non-fiction book up. As I say, there were a fair few. That's a relatively big book haul for me for one go. For one day, what is that, 10 I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, and they aren't all little books either, so I'm sure I'm going to have a great time. As always, please do let me know if there are any books in there that you are interested in, anything that you want to jump into, or anything that sounds uninteresting to you and a bit boring. Let me know as well, because I always like to know, good or bad. I hope you've had a really lovely day, a lovely weekend, and looking forward to your week ahead. I will talk to you soon, whenever soon is. I'll talk to you soonish. Alright, bye bye.